guy somewhere. It's just on our show. Make flexibility. Last night, Marcus Smart fell down. May have flopped a little, but check out how he bounces up off the ground.
Wow.
Come on.
I'm so impressed.
He can moonlight as a ninja.
Yeah.
I hope don't do that and get hurt, man. Oh, man.
Oh, look, producer Tucker had a fun morning.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah, see, you can just boom.
Yeah.
See, if you're going to flop, okay, just saying.
He's on a showcase, do that.
Marcus Smart has made a great contract case for himself. I'm just saying. Fundamentals, check out this sequence from Kyle Anderson. Leads the break, saves the ball, and delivers the alley-oop in one motion.
Great court awareness.
The world works at his pace, man. That's what I love about watching him do play.
Best nickname in the NBA.
Him being slow actually works to his advantage.
Right? Look, it just means the game slows down
Yeah.
for him. And everyone around him who has to play with him. Make Shabazzle Dazzle, baby. Shabazz Napier with the crossover and hesitation drops Tyler Ennis to the ground, and he hits the jumper.
No.
You think he learned this from Dame, CJ?
Man, wait, let me see.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's
geez,
Dang.
Tyler. Oh, man.
Wow.
You know.
Oh, look at it. Oh, it just
Maybe a Kemba Walker at UConn. What do
Yeah.
you think?
There you go. Kemba. Kemba's his vet, right?
I think this is what LeBron was seeing when he made those comments before he left the Heat.
Thanks. Thanks, LeBron.
Miss finishing, Donovan Mitchell providing us with yet another greatest dunk never last night with this play. I love that he tries.
Oh, in the split.
Right? Could have been.
I'm telling you, man.
Could have been.
I watch this kid play, and every time I see more and more Dwane Wade, and I don't want to put that kind of pressure on him. But this right here, that's Dwane Wade right there. That's.
But not the explosiveness.
Ooh, I don't even know.
This kid is pretty explosive.
Think
Wade has explosiveness back in the day, but
right.
maybe not like this.
No, he had a couple posters too.
Oh, yeah, I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting.
You know what? Donovan Mitchell's maturity, too. And the more I've heard him talk this season, the more impressed I've been. All right, swiping, make the Hawks provided this couple with their first date. Do y'all remember Swipe Right Night back in 2015? Tinder night?
Wow.
Yesterday, they hosted this couple's wedding. Plus, the Clippers have partnered up with the Dave couple as their jersey sponsor. You have to love how the NBA is committed to finding love for its fans.
If there's one fan base that's been brokenhearted for a while,
the Clippers. I just like that the NBA is here to give you a full life experience. It's not just going to entertain you. It's not just going to make you think. It will find you your mates, your soulmate for life.
Yep.
One way or the other, whether you like it or not. Lee Jenkins of Sports Illustrated dropping a new piece today on Dwane Casey and his unique journey to becoming their head coach of the Raptors. As usual, Lee has all the great details in his piece, and he's got how Casey changed the offense while also developing the bench. Look, they're on top of the East. I mean, where is Casey in your coach of the year? Right?
He's my coach of the year. I've been beating this drum for a couple of months now. To me, the hardest thing to do is be successful at doing one thing and recognize that's not good enough. I have to change. It's the reason why I call Greg Popovich the greatest coach of all time, because he won championships inside out, post up. And then he looked around and he said, the game has changed. We got to change. And even though we won championships this way, we're going to coach this completely different way. And same thing here with Coach Casey. They won division titles. They've been to the conference finals. You got two guys who are perennial all-stars at this point, but they all went on a trip. He told us on the podcast, myself, Mark Spears, and Chris Haynes, they went on a trip during the finals last year. They went and watched the finals, and Coach Casey said, if we want to take it to the next level, we can't keep doing what we've been doing. Yeah. We got to play like those guys, pointing at the Golden State Warriors.
He wasn't pointing at the Cavs?
But the style of play, sharing the ball.
You can see that DeMarcus Rosen, took this to heart because he's expanded his team. You know, you watched him the last 2-3 years. It's been him, Kyle Lowry shooting the threes. He's playing that mid-range game. Now you can see that the court is just more open. Their style of play, their ball movement. And they're a fun team to watch now. I feel like they got a little stagnant in years past because people were predicting what they were going to do with him and Lowry. Now they're a team, and teams are harder to beat than individuals.
Absolutely.
We're going to play a little game with Scotty, by the way. Was it DeMarcus Cousins or is it DeMar DeRozan? And we're going to have different situations to go back and look at that. I'm just teasing you. But you're absolutely right. And you've been so complimentary of DeMar, too. And I remember we talked about this at the trade deadline.
He deserves a lot of credit, too. Obviously, I think we all think James Harden is the MVP, but I wish I heard DeMar DeRozan's name a lot more in that conversation. Just to be in the conversation.
Can I put Brad Stevens' name in here?
Coach of the year?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, you could put. I think Casey is my coach of the year, but Brad Stevens isn't crazy.
I would say that's fair. I mean, what Boston has been able to do this season with pretty much a new team.
Do you know what has made the Brad Stevens case for me? Watching all the players who have left Boston in this past year and what has happened to them since.
Yeah. Well, I also want to throw Alvin Gentry, maybe a good
there you go. Alvin's definitely a good name.
I think this race is actually, I don't think this is over. I think this is going to be one of the more contested awards we have this season. Cavaliers shaking themselves out of a not a long losing, a couple game losing streak. It's been uneven
long for them, right?
Since the All-Star break. With a lineup shuffle, Larry Nance Jr. got the start for an injured Tristan Thompson. He responded with a career-high 22 points. But I want to talk about the Pistons side of things. Blake Griffin trade, right, was considered to kind of be an all-in move for them, right? If you have to ignore the 5th year of the deal so you can really, like, concentrate on the right now. But the right now is that Detroit is 5 games behind the Bucks for the 8th seed in the East. I don't know. What do you think, Scotty, Stan Van Gundy's job security lays?
Well, I think his job security is pretty good. I mean, he wears a lot of hats inside.
His GM ain't gonna fire him.
Well, the GM might not fire the coach, but the owner might decide to fire both the GM and the coach, who is one guy.
I think they have to accept the fact that, without all their players there, they really don't have the roster that they need to compete. Reggie Jackson, I think, is a huge part of their success, and he's yet to play with Blake Griffin on the floor. And Blake has definitely came and made an impact, but not the type of impact that they need, because they need to be moving in terms of trying to get lower in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's been talking about Reggie Jackson's the point guard that you have, not the point guard that you want.
Right.
But because he's not much of a playmaker, he's a scorer. But with Blake Griffin, now all of a sudden, that's exactly who you need. They haven't had the full complement. But in terms of what Stan Van Gundy's job security looks like, I can't see the owner, Mr. Gore, saying everything's gone.
Right.
Stan's a good coach. We all know he's a good coach. If anything, the first step is kind of what happened to Doc. We'll strip that president title of you. You can focus on coaching, because that's what you're good at, and we'll get someone in here who actually does the front office work.
And this isn't personal to Doc Rivers or Stan Van Gundy. I personally believe that is what should happen in all these franchises. I understand the whole, if you're cooking the meal, you want to buy the groceries, the Bill Parcells thing. But at some point, it's too hard to do both.
At some point, somebody else need to go buy the groceries.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Let
and
me
also,
see if you know how to cook.
You lose your perspective. That is absolutely true. I think I would do better at grocery shopping personally, but just saying. Here's what The Jump recommends for today. Uninterrupted. This is very cool. They got to tag along with the Warriors. They were the only outlet. They used their day off in Washington, as we know, to take a group of children to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. It was amazing to actually watch this clip from Uninterrupted and see these kids interact with the players. I would definitely check this out. It's very cool.